Hello, my name is Marie-Noëlle Pierce. As co-chair of the 75th Anniversary Committee, it is my great pleasure to introduce this short film, which celebrates the Lycée Français de New York of yesterday and today. Over the last 75 years, the Lycée has educated thousands of students. As we look back, it seems appropriate to start at the very beginning, with the school's founder, Charles Frere de Fontenouvelle, and let the memory of his vision begin our journey through time.
The Lycée then had one building on 95th Street. It was a house. Mr. Galli was the president. He did a very good job. Eventually the Lycée had to buy the two buildings on 72nd Street.
The old buildings were the French version of Hogwarts, if you will. Very Harry Potterish, staircases everywhere, no computers, a little dusty.
That marble staircase that we ran up every day, even as a child, I remember coming in and thinking, this is special.
I remember on 95th Street there was the anxiety of passing through Monsieur Lambert's inspection of the socks.
It was very impressive. It was very French, with a dorure. In this very old, prestigious building, we're starting to basically feel the age.
In the late 90s, the Lycée was in bad shape.
There was 5 buildings, one at 72nd, one on 73, one on 93, one on 95, two on 95 and 5th Avenue, were all in extremely bad shape.
The board, under the stewardship of Elsa Berry in particular, undertook a tremendous effort, together with Yves Tizet, to redesign the building, redesign the school, give it a new infrastructure.
In fact, we backed into it indirectly because when we took over as a board, we realized that the former buildings had not been maintained in many years.
So we found a place, a location in half a block of Manhattan, which happened to be between 75 and 76th Street, between the river and York. And we bought this place, which was a garage in fact, in order to build a new school.
Then we had to find the architect, and the right architect that would understand, and that's getting to your question, the soul of the school. How to build a school that was both functional and for the kids. So we ended up working with Jim Polshek, who is an amazingly talented architect.
This building is different than any school or educational institution at any level. The classroom is the most important, and in the classrooms the use of translucent glass, which allows an enormous amount of light in.
That light, when you walk in, it's just very positive. I think it's very positive for the children.
We wanted to have two feelings of two different campuses on one campus. So the two towers were conceived so that the older children were separate from the younger ones, so that when they graduate into the 6th grade, sixième, they went to the upper school. And then the center was the heart, the cœur, the soul, the cafeteria that was shared, the auditorium, the gymnasium.
I think one of the best things to do, though, is you walk in the building and you walk up the grand stair, and there is this green floating roof.
The courtyard, of course, made a big difference. It's one of the early green roofs, and it has remained green.
The children have such access here, and they have such facilities. They have fantastic libraries. They have this auditorium, they have the cultural center.
We have 2 gyms, we have music rooms, bright classroom, phenomenal art rooms on the roof where the children can have natural light.
The school is very modern and the school is very technology oriented. We have smart boards in all classrooms in the primary school, smart tables in the maternelle classes.
Polshek did a stupendous job with this building. They thought about it quite a bit, and kids are at home here. They roam the whole building, which is full of interesting areas. It's a modern way to interact between the staff, the teachers, and the kids.
I think what makes a huge difference is the size of the school is still such that you can have a personal relationship with each student.
It's thrilling. It's our legacy. It is the most beautiful school, I think, still today in New York, probably in a large city.
The great asset that is provided by this new school, this new building, this very modern, therefore forward-looking building, is that it sends the message that the student coming to the Lycée Français in New York is not a student stepping back in time into an old culture, but that France, the French language, French teaching is part of the modern world, and one is still very much stepping into the modern world when you are stepping in the Lycée Français.
What has changed the most in the past 10 years particularly is that the lycée has opened itself to the outside world.
When my kids enrolled in the lycée, the parents were requested to stay outside, never to cross the front door, which was the old way.
The way of teaching is different, the contact with teachers is different, is much more open and more friendly.
Today there's dialogue, there's elder dialogue, where students can come and ask for more help.
You get to meet one-on-one with your teacher, whichever you want. If you have problems in math, go to your math teacher.
The teachers are really concentrating on the students.
That never existed at the old school.
The kids have a broader view of the world. It's not, I just want to be with people like me.
Students are eager to learn. Students are curious. They're open-minded.
Mr. Lombroso was very open-minded. He teaches the old stuff as well as the new stuff.
The teachers that are hired now are hired on the premise of, this is the Lycée Français de New York, these are the changes we've made, this is our vision, and to make sure that they come to New York being themselves able to be agents of change.
Well, my goal clearly when I arrived was to make this school the best of the two worlds. And this school has such a potential. The minute I got into meeting with the trustees, I could feel the potential of the school. And I could feel that they would let me build my dreams.
It's all about taking the best from the French and the American education models, recreating something new, but tweaking it. It's very hard to keep that balance.
The lycée taught us more about our environment than any other school. It also taught us what the other schools taught us. That's why it was so rigorous. We not only got the French, but we got the American. When we left here, we had the best of both worlds.
The lycée, in my view, has always been somewhat of a, what I would call, transformational school. Be it for the parents, the children, the staff, the teachers. My sense is that when you've attended the lycée, when you've been here, often people come here from abroad, they stay for a long time or they stay for just a few years. The experience that they have at this school transforms them.
You know, one of my favorite days in the year here is United Nations Day, and having younger children, we get invited into the class, and you know, it struck us how in a class of 23 kids, I think there were 18 different nationalities represented.
The lycée not only represents France and the French culture, it represents multinationalism, it represents flexibility, it represents Americans looking out on the world.
Education for me is you care for the students, you care for the well-being of the students. You offer them to be well-rounded students, to develop their whole potential. A school is not only to develop one academic, encyclopedic aspect, but the whole vision of what a personality is.
The lycée is very fortunate to offer the students the diversity that it does, and we are the envy of many New York schools for that. It's a huge asset for students to be able to relate to a very global world.
It's always been such a special community and so united in so many different ways because it is so different from the other schools in New York.
This is an amazing school, an amazing building. It's a hot school. People want to come here.
Being a part of it is what the lycée has become.
Yves Tézé stands at the entrance of the school every day and sees the kids come in. That is a head of school.
We're looking to the future, but we're not forgetting the past. And that's what the 75th anniversary is all about.
Happy birthday, Lycée Français de New York.